Hey friends! I've been thinking about reorganizing my shelves because I've got things in a little bit of a chaotic order right now.
So when are we gonna add these to your shelves? Bestie!
We have Sherilyn here joining to help reorganize
Hello,
my
friends.
chaotic shelves.
She only has like a couple more books she needs to add.
I may have recently acquired a lot of books, including the ones that Sherilyn just ascended from the depths of the floor.
We have a Stephen King collection beginning.
Yes, I already have some back there. I have 2 shelves.
Continuing.
Yes, I have 2 shelves with Stephen King books. But I recently went on a Stephen King binge shopping and found like a ton of... You have such gremlin energy, I love it.
I do. It's the caffeine. We had
Yes.
coffee before this, naturally.
Speaking of, make sure you grab your beverage and let's get booking with the besties. Sherilyn and I are gonna get into some chaos here and we're gonna reorganize it and figure out a new system because I also recently acquired a lot of the New York Times Top 100 of the 21st century.
Uh-huh.
I may have started some collections, so...
Uh-huh. Yeah, so she has a collection of 100 books beginning that I feel like she already has 3/4 of. We're continuing the Stephen King collection, and what she has up there, I think she might have doubled.
Probably easily.
And then she has lots of other things, because why not? So, we're gonna give you a shot of what I'm looking at over there.
Yes.
Of all the books we need to incorporate. And then we're gonna walk you through what it looks like over there and what needs to be done.
And we'll strategize as we go. It will probably be chaos. So thank you for joining the ride. And thank you for joining the ride.
Happy to join the ride.
Okay, so this is my most chaotic space. Everything that's backwards is a recent purchase.
We're not gonna count that. Don't worry about that. Don't count them. We're just here to see the before, and then we'll be able to see the after.
So they need to find homes on shelves. They need to find a location, which they don't currently have. And then same with these ones. These ones here are also new. And then I've got like a ton of like book of the month kind of books at the bottom. And then I've got my TBR up at the top. I want to make this into like a winter TBR because I already have my fall TBR pretty much planned, but then to turn this into a winter TBR to kind of save some space. So that's the plan for this. Everything is gonna move essentially from this shelf. This shelf,
No
I'm
pressure.
hoping is gonna be completely different by the end of this video.
Mm-hmm.
So next shelf. So for these, I'm mostly happy with this shelf, mostly. But I think we're gonna have to make some adjustments because I've got my classics up here and then I've got my like reading and writing growth nonfictions with my little typewriter bookmark holder. So I love this shelf. And then I love this shelf. This is my New York Times Top 100 shelf in order. However,
We have like 50 books to add to this one alone.
there's quite a few to add, okay? So there was a Prime Day deal where a lot of books were very, very cheap and they included a lot of these. So
Make the most of those deals.
yeah, so this one is gonna expand into at least a whole thing wide. So we'll see how we go about that one. And then these are like the ones that I felt were like almost, not quite dark academia, but they were more like fallish, I guess, is kind of where I went with this one.
Kind of like moody vibes.
Yes, yes. And then I've got nonfictions from like here forward and then nonfictions on the bottom. And then some like random lit figgy style things. I feel like this could definitely use some work. So we'll see on that one. Yes, yes.
Coming soon, probably.
Ooh, that can go on the cart as a winter read.
Haha!
First one down! So this shelf is, I think we're gonna pretty much leave this one alone. This is like all Warhammer books and like gaming books and they all perfectly fit here. So we're just gonna leave this one alone. Then we have horror thrillers. These are a mess. They're totally mixed up in between each other. And then also just acquired a ton more. I'm definitely thinking we're gonna organize by genre. We can play around and see if we want to do authors' last names alphabetized within genres, but I don't know that I'm that precious about that. So we'll see. Then we get here and I have Stephen King horror thrillers and then Stephen King other. So this is the Dark Tower series, one of his fantasy books. 2 like crime books and then all of those are horror thrillers. And then we've got our Dresden, which this guy is kind of supposed to go with that, but we'll see. More Jim Butcher. And then it gets actually wild from here. We've got like a weird mix of fantasy and fantasy romance. I definitely want those separate and I want the YA to be separate. Then we've got more fantasy I think all of this is fantasy romance on this shelf. Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is again like a mix of fantasy and fantasy romance. This is a weird shelf and I actually hate it. And then the bottom one is also weird. Those are definitely ones I want to adjust. This, I have Brandon Sanderson's sci-fi, Brandon Sanderson special editions, and others. And then fantasy goes all the way down to here. I want to adjust this for sure. I don't know how yet. So we're gonna play around with that one and see what we have to do. Potentially these might go elsewhere. This little Mistborn shrine that might change. This is supposed to be all sci-fi, but there's definitely random other shit mixed in between. So yeah, we'll take a look at this one. And then we have Powerless at the bottom. That definitely goes in the sci-fi section. See, we got sci-fi over here and fantasy over here. This is a mess. This is chaotic. I definitely want a change in that one. We have this lovely copy of Golden Sun here. Isn't that great?
Oh no.
Yeah. That actually came that way and I didn't realize it. I bought it used. And then I've got a lot of my Broken Binding sprayed edge books. I recently turned them around to where the edges were back inside, but I think I want them edge out again. So yes, and then more fantasy, lots of fantasy.
It's mostly fantasy.
Mostly fantasy. Oh, fantasy romance randomly mixed in, and then manga at the bottom. So our goal is to rearrange this to where it makes sense. What does that mean? You'll find out with us. Because
stay tuned.
We don't fully know.
A lofty goal.
I think our first step is going to be maybe to take things out and put them in genre piles.
That sounds like a plan to me.
Let's do it.
Sweet. The Stephen King.
Lost emotion, crying like some kind of ocean from my eyes. But I got up out of the hopeless. Yeah, I got over you last night. Wasn't it easy to believe I would be broken forever? Thought I would never see the light. You didn't need me, so I went looking for somebody better. Thought I'd be sadder, but I'm fine. Washing my tears away, I watch my heart go down the drain. Go down the drain.
Oh, Stephen King. Holy fuck, dude.
I told you I just got off his book.
Hang on. Okay.
Oh, no, that's not.
No. But this is.
But the one wasn't.
Are you seeing this? You're not seeing this. Those two stacks. Right there. Stephen King. Tabitha.
Yes.
I was gonna say, what do you have to say for yourself? But we already know. We know.
My heartbreak go down the drain. I finally learned how to let go. I don't even feel the echo of your touch. I've never been so in control. Only love I need is mine. But wasn't it easy to believe I would be broken forever?
Look at the gorgeous. Look at pretty edges. We love pretty edges, y'all. And there's... Oh my gosh. Yes, please. Add that to my hold list. I get all the first dibs on any of these books. Because I'm here. The girls are going to be like, wait a minute. You can't read that fast anyway.
Thought I would never see the light. You didn't need me, so I went looking for somebody better. Thought I'd be sadder, but I'm fine.
Oh, gorgeous.
Washing my
That's
tears
clean.
away,
It's so
I watch
lame.
my heartbreak go down the drain. My heartbreak go down the drain. My heartbreak go down the drain. My heartbreak go down the drain.
Don't you have this book? I just put this over here. There's another one. They're multiplying. Where'd it go?
That's what happens when you do book subscriptions.
So if anyone was curious, I mean, this is a totally normal thing, but we have two of the same book. So that's the first duplicate, but they're different. They're different special editions. Okay, I'm not Mostly, it was just really funny that I had just sorted this
Look how
into a pile.
different thickness they are.
What the fuck?
I like this one way more.
Yeah.
Way more. I like the sprayed edges of this one more, but I like the addition of this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I literally just put this in a pile, and I picked this up, and I was like, wait, don't you have this book? She has both of them. It's her library. I'm just gonna go now.
Wasn't it easy to believe that I would miss you forever? Always be tethered to your love. Grass isn't greener on your side. You're wishing we were together, but I'm not. Just watch. Go down the drain. My heartbreak go down the drain. Ooh, tell me I'm the one you really like. You feel so good, I swear that I might die in the night. Next to you, I'm a fighter for your love, and I'm over the moon. The things I would do for you, I move with the way your body's making waves. Ooh, touch me and I think I wanna stay in your arms. Might let you break my heart, light me up, yeah, I'm so into you. The things I would do. Got me up, I'm higher than the clouds. Drunk on ice, no, I'm not coming down. Give you everything I got, forever. Darling, I swear you were made for me. Can't deny it's all alright, know your energy. If heaven is a place, then it's in your eyes. Wanna love you.
We love you. It is the book that inspired Dracula. And lesbians. It's great.
Inspired lesbians.
This is the origin of homosexuality in women.
In the 1800s. When is this from? 1871. Okay, there we go. I was like, why does this say 2019, Tabitha? 1871. Inspiring lesbians in the 19th century.
Oh, God.
Inspired Dracula and lesbians. And that's some persuasive writing. I was straight when I started this, but now, ooh.
End of time. Like the way your hands are tracing me. Can't deny it's all alright, know your ecstasy. If heaven is a place, then it's in your eyes. Wanna love you till the end of time. Oh, I got neon colors in my room. Don't ever want another, only you in my head, only you in my bed. Light me up, yeah, I think that I'm doomed.
Video was just me crawling back and forth. Oh my god. I'm just on the floor this entire time. True gremlin mode unlocked.
I'm doomed, the things I would do. Got me up, I'm higher than the clouds. Drunk on ice, no, I'm not coming down. Give you everything I got, forever. Darling, I swear you were made for me. Can't deny it's all alright, know your energy. If heaven is a place, then it's in your eyes. Wanna love you till the end of time. Like
Hello, it is a few days later. My camera did die and we tried to switch out the battery and then it gave me a scary message. I haven't checked that camera to see if it's okay. Hopefully it's okay. But Sherilyn and I went ahead and finished organizing the library. We did that until like 1 a.m. So thank you, Sherilyn, for spending all that time over here and all of the effort. It was amazing to have her help and we had such a fun time. We had so many laughs and now my library looks a lot better. So let me go ahead and show you guys. Obviously you can see some of it behind me, but let me show you the changes, like what's different. You saw the before and I realized like behind me, it's still a wall of books. So it doesn't look that crazy different. But yeah, I'll go ahead and walk you guys through what exactly changed. So this shelf was my TBR slash wrap up slash random books. And now it's my romantasy. So I've got adult romantasy up at the top, mostly like my Sarah J Maas stuff, and then some sprayed edges. And then we have my Jennifer L. Armentrout, and then other things because I had extra room. But I do need to eventually get the rest of that series. So eventually that will all be her shelf. Then I have some more sprayed edges and some more adult romantasy. Then we get into one of my favorite romantasy authors, which is Margaret Rogerson. I have all of her stuff together. Then we have YA slash YA romantasy. So I kept all the YAs together because most of the YAs I have are romantasy. So like all of these aren't technically romantasy, but they are YA fantasy. And I don't have a lot of YA fantasy, so they're kind of chilling with the rest of them. Then I have some more YA, and then we switch over into like a witches vibe. So we have like a witches slash magical realism starts here, and all of this is witches slash magical realism, at least from what I could tell. Then at the bottom here, I have contemporary romances. This is the new gorgeous copy of Beach Read. Oh, you're so beautiful. We love you. And then more contemporary romances to Magnolia Parks. That's the last ones of those. Oops. Okay, I did a last minute adjustment so that these stay standing. I have my favorite cover of Daisy Hates. I actually like the Daisy Hates ones more than Magnolia Park because I know that it's kind of 50-50 which one people end up liking, but Daisy Hates I prefer. And then we get into retellings. Most of these are mythology retellings, but then we've got a few mixed in that are not mythology based. This one doesn't really need to be backwards since it's not really a cool design. And then to the left of this shelf, I have what's going to be my seasonal TBR cart. We put a couple of items here on this seasonal TBR cart for now, but eventually I want to fill this up and make this a nice big winter TBR once we get a little bit closer to the change of the seasons. I already know what I want to read for fall, so this doesn't need to get used yet, but this will be in for winter. This shelf on the left side of the room is almost entirely the same. There is some small adjustments, and my husband's contribution was this shrine to this snail that I bought, and we all decided while Sherilyn was over that his name is Gary because of SpongeBob, so he now has a name. Other than that, this shelf is exactly the same except it's one up. It was down here, but now it's up here. And this is my reading slash writing nonfictions with Stephen King front and center. And then we start the items that I'm working on building up, which is the New York Times Top 100 of the 21st Century. I do have them in number order, so this is number 1 all the way down. I don't, obviously, like this is 2 shelves. These are not 100 books, but I'm pretty close to halfway actually with those. But yeah, they're in number order because I really want to read them all. So I started that little collection and now it's up to 2 shelves. So that's exciting. So then right below, I have what's mostly my contemporary fiction slash lit fic. And then it continues. This all is nonfiction to match the bottom shelves. And then at the bottom, we have more of my nonfiction, and that ranges down to my like career focused nonfiction. So I have like, even that's kind of separated. Like I have financial nonfiction, then just like history nonfiction, I think is what that ended up being, mental slash whatever nonfiction, productivity, and then all the way into like what I actually do for my job. That's this shelf, and I love it. Then next we have my wall of books. So on this wall, this shelf remained entirely the same. This is my Warhammer slash gaming books. All of those are the same. Then the next shelf was already my horror slash thriller shelf, but now it's a bit more organized. And then at the bottom, we have vampires. So vampires goes until right after Twilight. That is Immortal Dark. And that's kind of the transition because it's both vampires and dark academia. So it transfers into dark academia and then gothic and then classics. So it ranges, funny enough, from like Twilight and vampire books all the way to like Play-Doh down there. But it's like a nice gradient that Sherilyn and I came up with. Then the rest of the shelf is horror, and then that's a continuation of horror. And then we have thrillers and thrillers. And then as mentioned before, I just got a ton of Stephen King books. I already had some, but Under the Dome really sold me on like, okay, so Stephen King is just like one of my new favorite authors of all time now. So now I have 3 shelves of his books. I want to organize these even further into like publication year or something. I'm not 100% sure yet, but at least they have their spot so they can be rearranged within that. Then we have one of my favorite series of all time, and that is Dresden Files. We have these really cool omnibus editions of these first ones that have like 3 novels in each of them because it's really hard to get a full set of the hardcovers. So that's what we ended up doing, is we got those. And then more Jim Butcher. There's Bob. He would be on that shelf, but there is no room. And then that's the continuation of the vampires. Then we have our sci-fi. This is like, as far as I can tell, this is like regular sci-fi. This is like regular, like as sci-fi as you can get. And then that continues here. And then we have like sci-fantasy, which is like a mix between sci-fi and fantasy. And I could have some of these in the wrong spot. I'm not 100% sure about each one, but as I read them and determine more which one they align with, they can go into their proper spot. Continuation of the dark academia slash gothic with some classics mixed in. And then we have the start of my Brandon Sanderson area. We have Brandon Sanderson's sci-fi, the leatherbacks, a little bit of his sci-fi, and then the Mistborn and Stormlight Archives. I did originally have these mixed in as where they go in the series, but I kind of hated that. So now they're next to each other. And then I have his new book back here, the picture book that he just put out, because it didn't really fit on the shelf all that great. So it's back there. And then we have more sci-fantasy because we're getting into the fantasy. So I mostly wanted the sci-fantasy to be kind of in between. Oh, and then Expanse. I forgot to mention that. Right below the Brandon Sanderson sci-fi / Sierra Projects, and right next to the Brandon Sanderson shelf, we have Expanse. And then we have more sci-fantasy right next to all of the fantasy. I wanted this to be like a good in between the sci-fi and fantasy, since it is a genre blend. And then this shelf is the start of fantasy. So basically everything from here on is fantasy, but this is just like the start of the fantasy section. And then we've got our classics. So the Brandon Sanderson shelves we discussed. And then I really wanted the middle row to be as much as possible sprayed edges. So I put all of the sprayed edges I have. All of these are fantasy sprayed edges all the way to here. These are my fantasy sprayed edges. Then we have more fantasy. This is mostly R.F. Kuang and Jay Kristoff, who are 2 of my favorite authors. And then back to the classics. Then one of my favorite series is Wheel of Time. I'm slowly working on getting all of these in hardback so I can get the really gorgeous juniper dust jackets. But these are the ones that I have for now. More fantasy. I could have put this in the sprayed edges, but I wanted to keep my Sword of Kaikens together. So that's where that is. More fantasy. Then we have Wheel of Time going into The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. And then we have Dragon Shelf. So all of these are dragon books. I was originally gonna put like Hobbit on the other side so that it's kind of a blend, but I just couldn't do that. Since it's before Lord of the Rings, I couldn't do it. But you know, it also has a dragon, so it kind of goes here anyway. But yes, dragons. Then this is a continuation of fantasy and Robin Hobb. I haven't read any of these books yet. Yes, I did buy the entire series without reading a single one, so hopefully I like it because I have all of them. Then I have more fantasy. This is one of the most underrated fantasy books of all time. Unfortunately, it's not an audiobook, so I get that a lot of people want to read, especially really dense fantasies with audiobooks. So hopefully that one day gets one, because this is so good. More of the sprayed edges. And then these two wrap up my fantasy shelves. More like random fantasies mixed together. And then mostly John Gwynne and Michael J. Sullivan on this one. Eventually this will probably also just be John Gwynne as he writes more books and as I get the last one and the Bloodsworn saga. Then I have my manga / graphic novels, and that wraps up my bookshelf reorganization / tour. Thank you so much, Sherilyn, for joining me and helping me organize these shelves and get them to a place where I'm really, really happy with them. And thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.